Yes, so outbreak of the revolution. So in France of this old regime, when we see that role of monarch, so monarch didn't had power to impose taxes. So according to this old regime system, we saw that France was suffering through financial crunch and they wanted to increase the taxes. But the issue was that only estate general, a body which contained the representatives of the three estates, would impose taxes. Okay, so monarch जो था, king के हाथ में exclusive right नहीं था to introduce new taxes, but he wanted to increase the taxes. So as a result, in order to impose the taxes, he had to call a meeting of estate general. Now what was this estate general? So estate general, it was a political body which contained the representatives of all the three estates. फर्स्ट एस्टेट के कुछ लोग आएंगे, सेकेंड एस्टेट के आएंगे, थर्ड एस्टेट के आएंगे. So like that, it was a body which was called as estate general. So this body had the right to impose taxes. We'll just wait, people are joining. All right, yeah. So this estate general had all the right to impose new taxes. King के पास वो right नहीं था, exclusive right नहीं था, but king had an important right to call the meeting of that estate general. It means that अगर king ने estate general का meeting नहीं बुलाया, then new taxation system could not be introduced. That is, new reforms could not be introduced. So that was in the hand of the king. Tax कितना impose करना है, कौन सा tax impose करना है, this was the exclusive right of estate general. But whether to call the meeting of that estate general or not, that was in the hand of the king. Okay, so we see that king called this meeting of the estate general in 1614. So the last meeting of this estate general was organized in 1614, and uske baad all of a sudden on 5th of May 1789, that is more than 150 years, okay, then the king realized we need to call the meeting of the estate general, and ultimately more than 150 years ke baad a meeting of the estate general was called on 5th of May 1789 in order to pass the new taxes. Now what was the issue in the meeting that we'll be discussing now? Now, this meeting of estate general was conducted in a hall in the Versailles Palace. Now, who were the representatives? So we saw that France was divided into an estate system. First estate, second estate, third estate. First estate में से 300 people came for meeting. From second estate, 300 people came for meeting. So first estate के 300 लोग, second estate के 300 लोग, okay? And they sat in the first row. एक दूसरे के सामने, rows facing each other on the two sides, they were sitting. Now, if you guys remember the population of first and second estate was hardly around 1,20,000 or 30,000. So 1,30,000 broadly हम consider करते was the population of the first estate, and उसमें से आए 300 representatives. Second estate का भी population was nearly same. 300 representatives came. But we saw that the population of the third estate was around 2.5 crore. And third estate में से only 600 people were called to attend this estate general meeting. And so 600 members, they came for this meeting and they were not allowed to sit. They were made to stand at the back, okay? And third estate में से भी, if you remember, we had seen the category of third estate. Who were there in the third estate? First category, we saw bourgeois. Bourgeois were educated people, businessmen, merchants, वो सब थे, थोड़े rich people, prosperous and educated people were called as bourgeois. Then we saw the lower sections of the society, peasants, artisans, ये सब थे the last section of the third estate. So third estate में से only prosperous and educated people were called for the meeting. The remaining people, that is peasants, artisans, women, they were not allowed to enter into the meeting of the estate general. Okay, so what did these people do? Those who were not allowed to enter into the meeting, these people, they presented their demands, their grievances in the form of 40,000 letters. तो ये लोगों ने अपने 40,000 letters दिए अपने representatives को, 600 representatives who came from the third estate to attend that estate general ka meeting. So this was all about the estate general ka meeting. This meeting was called by monarch Louis XVI in order to discuss about the new proposal for introducing taxes. Okay, once again I'll repeat, first state में से 300 लोग आए, from second state 300 people, from third state we had 600 members, but only those who were educated and the prosperous section of the society, the lower caste people and women were not allowed to enter into the meeting. So this was that famous estate general ka meeting that was organized in the Versailles palace. This was the meeting that was organized in that Versailles palace. Now what was the issue? The issue was with respect to the voting rights. Okay, now king ने जो पैटर्न फॉलो किया, एंड इतने सालों से जो पैटर्न फॉलो हो रहा था, द पैटर्न वाज दैट ईच स्टेट विल हैव वन वोट एंड द अल्टीमेट डिसीजन विल बी टेकन बाय मेजॉरिटी. तो इसका मतलब क्या है, 300 रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स आपस में डिसाइड करेंगे एंड फर्स्ट स्टेट में से वन वोट विल कम. अगर इफ पर्टिकुलर मैटर इज देयर दैट दे वांटेड टू टैक्स इनकम टैक्स बाय 20% और 30%, तो अगर उसमें वोटिंग होगा तो फर्स्ट स्टेट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ 300 रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स दे विल गिव वन वोट. सेकेंड स्टेट में भी सेम थिंग, ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ 300 रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स दे विल गिव वन वोट. थर्ड स्टेट on behalf of 600 representatives they will give one vote. And we know that first state and second state they were in, मतलब वो एक दूसरे से मिले जुले थे, and the result was majority. So अगर 3 वोट आ रहे हैं तो definitely first and second state का vote will be in favor, would be same, and third state का against हो सकता है, but majority will prevail, the will of the majority will prevail, and as a result the decision would always be in the favor of the first and second state. This principle third state people did not like, and Louis XVI he said that even during this meeting, so this जो principle था, each state would give only one vote, this was in existence for centuries, and Louis XVI said that he will continue with the very same practice. But the people of the third state, they didn't like this system of voting, and they said that one man, one vote should be there. Okay, and more prominence or more privilege should be given to the third state ka vote, because they represented the major section of the French society. So it should not be such system, one man only one vote should be there. And these people, they were mainly inspired by the democratic principles which we have already covered, which were put forth by the different philosophers like Rousseau in his book Social Contract, that the people elect the representatives, and we should encourage the principle of one man one vote. But we see that king did not approve this proposal, because the first state and the second state supported monarchy and the old regime, that is a 3-state system. So definitely king would not respect this proposal, and as a result this proposal was rejected by French King Louis XVI. As soon as this proposal was rejected, the member of third state, they walked out from this assembly, from this meeting of a state general, as a sign of protest. तो ये सब निकल गए उस मीटिंग में से, and this people, they started proclaiming that we are the true representatives of the third estate, and we represent the entire French nation, because they were the representatives of the majority of the section of the society. 2.5 crore लोगों के ये representatives थे. So they started viewing themselves as the true spokesmen of the French as a nation. And these people, जिन्होंने walk out किया from the State General, they assembled in a hall. That was an indoor tennis court which was there in the ground of Versailles. So Versailles के ground में there was a tennis court. यहाँ पे ये जो 600 representatives थे, they gathered and they declared that we are the true representatives of the France. We are the French ka National Assembly. So they declared themselves as a National Assembly, and they swore that we are not going to move from here, we are not going to disperse from here until and unless we want to draft constitution for France, and this constitution will limit the powers of the French monarch. So basically, you guys can see that now they are walking on the path of Britain, and from monarchy they are trying to move towards constitutional monarchy. Still they are not in favor of complete deprival. मतलब अभी भी उन लोगों का ये कहना नहीं था कि हम monarch को completely हटाएंगे. No, they were saying that we will draft a constitution, and this constitution will limit the power of the French monarch. So in a way, France was moving towards constitutional monarchy form of government. Okay, so from absolute monarchy, there is a transition to constitutional monarchy. And these people, those who gathered in the tennis court, they were led by two important leaders, Mirabeau and Abe Sieyes. Okay, so these were the two important leaders. Now, when we talk about Mirabeau, Mirabeau was actually a person from a Nobel family. Though he was born in a Nobel family, but he was convinced that privileges should not be encouraged by birth. People should enjoy privileges on the basis of the merit. And as a result, he decided to bring about a journal, and he delivered powerful speeches. And he was the one who led the crowd who assembled in that tennis court. Okay, so he played a very important role, Mirabeau. And this is that event which is called as the famous tennis court oath. Okay, so tennis court oath played a very important role. Then the next person was Abe Sieyes. So Abe Sieyes was a clergyman. He was actually a priest, but again, he was not in favor of the traditional norm that was prevalent in France. And as a result, he wrote an influential pamphlet, that is, what is third estate. And he too advocated that third estate truly represented the French society, and privileges should be enjoyed by merit. So this National Assembly, while it was busy in drafting the French Constitution, we see that the situation in the French society escalated. So during this time frame, a severe winter took place in France, and that resulted, because of the severe winter, it resulted into hailstorm attack, frost attack, and that further escalated the issue of survival, because it meant bad harvest. Because of bad harvest, it resulted into increase in the price of French cup bread, which was the staple diet of France. And the advantage of the situation was taken by bakers. Okay, so bakers exploited the situation. They started hoarding and black marketing, and that further escalated the issue of survival. So people used to often spend hours and hours in front of the French bakeries, but ultimately, nothing could happen to solve their issue. So people were so much frustrated that once they decided, let us go and meet Queen. So these people, they went to the Queen's palace, but instead of listening to the people, Queen ordered her soldiers to disperse the crowd. And ye dispersal mein, people were the soldiers, they started attacking on the people, those who gathered in front of the Queen's palace, and that resulted into mob becoming very angry. And these people, they went to Bastille. If you guys remember, in the beginning, we saw that Bastille was the state prison where all the prisoners who were kept, and it was a symbol of oppression, okay, French oppression. And as a result, we saw that during that time frame, these people who were the angry mob, who were dispersed by the Queen's soldiers, they agitated, and they stormed Bastille. And then if Bastille ka pura prison tod diya, prisoners were released from this prison, and this is the famous incident in the French history, which is called as storming of the prison of Bastille. Yahan se ye jo prisoners nikle, they started attacking Châteaux. Now, what do you mean by Châteaux? Châteaux were the castles of French nobles. So, ye log gaye and they started attacking on the Châteaux, and literally nobles were very much